Hi, dudes and dames, and welcome to a hamster's perspective. If you can handle the hamster, I mean, another perspective, or entertain a thought for the purpose of broadening your horizon, consider this your trigger warning. Today I want to share a couple of random thoughts on the discussion of dumb shit done by movements, corporations, and politicians. Now I'm gonna say this once, and then I'm not wasting any more time on it. Hashtag not all. Of course I don't mean all of people. That's important. Now, onto it. To avoid a long haul of explanation beforehand, I'm gonna take this last example of yet another YouTube toss update. The demonetization of content. Everyone have their take on it, and the talk is flaming, underlining the obvious result: the shock, the appall, the outrage, the annoyance, and to many, uncertainty. So did the last update. So will the next. I know this for now mostly can be avoided by wording the things in title, description, and text more carefully. You might be able to get away with talking in your videos against the corporate narrative without getting caught in the scripted repercussions. But how are people interested in the discussion going to find your content when you can't describe it properly? And how is that not censoring both the discussion and you? It will over time result in those dependent on that money, most often those with the biggest audience, the full-time content suppliers, and already faithfully, will do what they can to fall in line to the authority, and by defunding those who openly makes rational content with substance and or whom go against the narrative, those will either disappear from the searches or give up eventually due to the funding issue. If this were a standalone event, I would agree that it's the result of them trying to do the right thing. But it isn't standalone. Most people who have followed this development know that it has only had one direction in certain corporate communities. And as it looks right now, that will continue. Here one could mention the introduction of reword, which is to be implemented in all social media platforms supporting this mentality, which will help you write non-offensive messages. On one thing I'm sure we can agree. Movements, companies, corporations and governments all around all makes a lot of dumb shit. A lot of dumb shit. A lot of mistakes, reckless behavior for profit, corruption, and the list goes on forever. Especially governments get their share of unfortunate outcomes due to its nature and function. When more and more so-called dumb shit happens, where there are clear and obvious gains to certain parties, it would be natural to ask if it actually were done on purpose. Do unfair, dumb shit mistakes happen? Of course they do, by the tons. Keeping a skeptic mind towards things done that affect you won't hurt anyone. Not being skeptic will. What baffles me is the discussion on why they are doing this. If you look to big parts of the high-end business and philanthropist environment, they have been calling for this for years. It's definitely no secret. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there standing on soapboxes yelling about reptilian or extra-dimensional entity takeover, pot people replacing humanity, or even celebrity demons shapeshifting on television. As entertaining as it is, it does make anyone who mentioned that personalities like Rockefeller is known for speaking against free internet for normal people look like they need a roll of tinfoil. When I see the executives, CEOs, magazine owners, celebrity personalities, politicians whom all push the same narrative and objective in the more than cuddly relationship they are, I can't help but having a natural skepticism towards what they together are doing. And that is what really edged my noggin. That not many are asking, could they actually be the ones wanting these changes? Let's say you're at your house, and a hurt, panicked woman come to your door and rush to get you to help her. In the end, it ends up with something weird. She didn't really need any help, and she liked. And yeah, you walk back to your house just in time to see this fucktard of a guy coming out with your Xbox and your flat screen and take off in the other direction. Later that night, you see them both together in the store buying beer and laughing. How can you not ask yourself if something is off? I touched on this in a previous video, but thought I would try and express this in a more direct manner. I get why people try to rationalize this with the market will regulate and so on, but that would require an actual free open market. For over 20 years I have been following the development with corporations like Google and its many daughter branches. They have been on the cutting edge development of new internet standards and are, as we talk, in charge of building the next generation internet, which we have already seen their intentions with. Talking personal internet logon, policing of acceptable content on private sites, etc. People have always been complaining, but they have never actually affected these corporations' end goal. Maybe just made a bump in the road. If you're thinking this is a burp of a bunch of feminists who got too much power, you should ask yourself, were they hired because they would make that exact burp? I mean, they are actively engaged in promoting these mentalities, even so far as to make cutting-edge social media platforms that guaranteed will produce even more of them. Why am I at all proposing this angle? Because a lot of the things we see today is what these philanthropist people have been writing and talking about for decades. Most of the international and American situation today is directly described in books and texts dating back to the 50s, some even earlier. This is not my opinion. This is what they themselves have written and said, but what I want to add to the discussion is, why not, if we really are current year, take into account that malicious intent actually might occur, and simply try to ensure that it would be as hard as possible in the things everyone depend on, instead of hoping those without reason to does the right thing. Thanks for watching.